welcome guys. In today's video we're going to be talking about the little engine that is Vechain. And let's get into it. What is Vechain? Why I think it's going to pop off and go to the moon, and why I think it's a great long-term investment. Again, I'll have to say I am not a financial advisor, even though I was one in my past life. You don't pay me. I have no fiduciary responsibility to you whatsoever. I'm just going to tell you why I think it's a great investment and why I'm investing my money in it, and I'll be doing that next week on my video series about I invest $400 a week in different things. Started last week where I started off with $1,500 each week. I plan on putting about $400 into different coins. In that first video I show a list of the coins I was thinking about. Well, this is one of them, so I figure I'd go break it down, and I said during the week I'd make a video about what I think I'll put my money in next, and I think it is going to be Vechain, and today I'll tell you why. So let's get into this. I hope you enjoyed. If you like it, give it a, hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks, guys. All right, well, what is Vechain? Well, Vechain is all about managing information relevant to businesses, such as data on various stakeholders, events, or products, with blockchain playing a role of the protector of the authenticity of various digitized data. Its business model revolves around a recognition that trust is an important resource and a common point of interest for both the businesses and their customers. Okay, well, this is Vechain, and it can be used with any consumer application, any business application, any, Internet of Things, any product with connectivity. That's what this is for. That's over here. And this is where I think where they're going to start making most of the value in their coin, which have already started, is over here in any product with a tag. So that could be, let's say, pharmaceuticals, consumer goods. Here you got bottles. I said in my first video, imagine you buy a $30,000 bottle of Pappy Van Winkle's bourbon, and you realize it's a fake. Somebody just found the original bottle, put a new sticker on it, whatever the hell they have on there, and put some cheap bourbon in. You buy it for $30,000, you're not even getting it. Same here with but I think last time I saw something like 70% of all Viagra was counterfeit. It's not even real. So you're looking for, I don't know, some big dick energy, and you end up with a fake bottle of Viagra. That solves all that. And anything with an RFID chip, barcodes, QR codes, anything like that, they can put all that data into the blockchain where it can't be manipulated, changed, counterfeited, or whatever. But let's get into what they're trying to do here. Don't take my word for it. Let's see what Vechain is trying to achieve. Vechain sees the transparency of information exchange on a global scale as a key driver in business collaboration. And it wants to ensure symmetrical and transparent information flow based on a digitization of data. And so here we go. With it, businesses will profit from reducing associated trust-related costs, such as in the case of verifying authenticity of a procured good via digital means instead of doing it by manual and paper documents. So think now you buy something, let's just say, you buy something, you got to fill out a warranty card, send it all in, register it, all of that. It's all done by paper and manual. With this, they want to take all that. You'll be able to scan the code. It goes in, it's automatically put on a blockchain forever, where it can't ever be destroyed, lost, manipulated, faked, all of that stuff. That works out for the consumer, that works out for the business. Okay, one example involves the use of Vechain in fighting the proliferation of counterfeit wines. Well, I made a joke about Pappy Van Winkle's, but that happens with wine all the time. People fake $100 a bottle of wine all day. You're drinking swill, you don't even know it. So you'll be able to see exactly when a bottle left a warehouse in France and when it arrived in Shanghai or a city near you. Other use cases include luxury goods. So yeah, make sure that Louis Vuitton bag's really a Louis Vuitton bag. Automobiles, think of automobile parts. You're redoing a Shelby. You want real authentic parts, and you're buying some knockoffs from China. You don't even know it. You build a $100,000 Shelby, and you come to find out that half the parts you put in it are crap. Retail and logistics. I'm going to go back to logistics because this is something when I'm looking at these coins, I try to think, I want stuff that I can understand. I hear about these NFTs there, or whatever the hell they are, NTFs, and people are saying, I'm like, so what are you saying, like a Beanie Baby? You want me to invest my money for something that's like a Beanie Baby? So people play games and shit? To me, I can't really wrap my head around it. So I do like things that I can understand, and I'll come back to this anecdotal evidence of in my lifetime and what I've done for work in my past where I totally get how this is a game changer. And I'll get right to that when I give a little deeper into this. All right, so Vechain wants to pioneer technologies, make it easier for customers who want to access genuine products for their money. Okay, Internet of Things sensors and tagging technology. The goal of this project is to have the platform serve as a repository of registered products, which I was trying to talk about up here, on its authenticity and origins, data manufacture, the manner of storage being available to customers, and I'm going to come back to logistics with that. I'll tie that without the possibility of manipulation. Now, on this, and I'm just going to touch on produce and dairy. Years ago, I managed a regional market here in Hartford, Connecticut. Hartford's in New England, Connecticut, which is way on the East Coast, up north on the East Coast, and obviously we don't grow lettuce around here. I'm going to use this as an example. So we would buy truckloads, trailers of lettuce from out in California, usually the Salinas Valley, California. And so a private contractor would pick it up, sign off for it there, bring it to us, and we would inspect it, sign off. Once we signed for it, if there's anything wrong with it, we had no recourse. Now, the only thing in that truck to tell us about temperature and how that was handled from point A to point B, from Salinas, California to us, was a little mechanical, almost like a seismograph that kept a temperature range, and it made a little mark on a piece of paper every like 20 minutes to show what the temperature was. And all those things were easily manipulated and fake. Drivers knew, because if we didn't sign for it, now they were on a hook. If there was something wrong with it, or we didn't sign for it, we didn't agree and accept the load of lettuce, they'd have an insurance claim. So a lot of drivers are smart. They would keep a fake one with a certain temperature, so that if they knew something went wrong, they would switch it out before they got to us. Anyway, now once we signed for it, it was ours. So let's say that driver, he went and, I don't know, he had a long ride. He had to be there in 5 days. I had to smoke some methamphetamine or something like that, and hit the reefer. The lettuce froze somewhere around Missouri. About halfway, he realizes, oh shit, I got frozen lettuce. He cranks it back, or it's been freezing for it's been under 32 degrees for whatever, an hour and a half. He cranks it back up a little bit, gets it to temperature by the time it gets to us. So now we take the thermometer. There's no way to know that the lettuce was ever frozen, but on a cellular level, that load of lettuce is going to be black in about 3 days. But there's no way to know it at the time. But on a cellular level, that lettuce was destroyed, and it takes a while before it like phenotype, like it shows on the outside, before it rots. So anyway, this saves that, and I can tell you, you're talking, when you got 45 pallets of lettuce and 2 days later it's black, and you have no recourse. You can't go back. I mean, you signed for it. It's yours. This saves a lot of that. So I can see this is so far for all these examples, I can see how massive and how much of a game changer this is going to be. Well, back here, to achieve this, platform wants to offer a range of identifiers which are stored on its blockchain and give a material shape, meaning it's not just the procedure and the data they want to store. They also, they want to do the RFID tags and the QR codes to the product. To ensure the product's compliance with the various anti-counterfeiting and food safety regulations. Again, imagine you're a restaurant and you buy some shellfish. Once you sign for it, and now you give it to someone and it's, they get sick. It's hard for you to go back because you've already bought it. So the customer sues you, not the person you got it from. Now you can try to take them to court, but chances are the responsibility ultimately ends on the owner of the restaurant of why somebody got sick. And all this stuff, I mean, this is just great to know where things were, because these sensors, it doesn't really say it here. These things, they have sensors to put data on a ledger, on a blockchain that can never be, again, deleted, erased, or manipulated, for temperature, humidity, acidity. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Well, whatever. I'm going off here only because I'm enthusiastic about this Vechain. All right, to promote the mainstream adoption, Vechain wants to make its blockchain easy for deployment and available as a service. So they're looking at it as a BaaS, blockchain as a service. They have Vechain Thor, secure infrastructure designed as a turnkey solution for enterprises, businesses that have neither the time nor the resources to develop their own similar systems. Well, yeah, if you're going to have the best one and they can just, plug and play, turnkey. You've already got everything set up. All they have to do is stick these tags on things, and and decide what parameters they want to censor or measure or record, I mean, they're ready to go. Vechain also offers access to blockchain as a service. That's what that is, called Toolchain. Toolchain is designed, and this is important, and I'll come right back to this too. So I want you to keep this in mind. Toolchain is designed as a gateway for small and medium-sized enterprises to get access to the blockchain technology without being hampered by the lack of financial resources for such a migration. So they want to set up small and medium-sized enterprises, with this turnkey product where they can just start using this at an extremely low entry cost. And I think that's great to get these small and medium-sized enterprises when they're first starting the ability to do this and use these kinds of technologies and have this kind of tracking and data collection and authenticity proving and all this other stuff when they're small and medium and not just for large companies. And I'll come back to that. So, I mean, here's the economic model, which goes back to this. VTHO, because everyone knows the VET coin. Well, VTHO is the other coin. They actually have two coins. VTHO represents the underlying cost of using VeChain. The VET coin is to serve as a value transfer medium. In other words, a smart money. The coin you want to invest your money in. Okay, the system is designed that VTHO is generated automatically, and the only way it's generated is automatically by holding the VET token. Whoever holds VET will be given VTHO for free and able to use VeChain for free as long as the operations performed consume less than a VTHO generated. And I think this is really great for the overall long-term value of VET. Well, I'm going to put it together with this here. Down here, it's going to tell you the total supply is around 86.7 billion. And as of, this was back in September 55. It's 68 billion of them are in circulation now out of a total of a all-time total that there's ever going to be of 86.7 billion. And this stuff is just getting adopted and people are just starting to use it. BMW. Yeah, there's a whole list of companies starting to use this stuff. And I see where almost every industry and every decent company within those industries that want a good relationship with their consumers are going to want to use this technology. Now, what's great about this is these coins, most of them are in circulation and you could be owning them. So all these companies that are coming on board, whether they're small, medium, or large ones, have to get VET to get the VTHO to actually use it. And what's good is as the VTHO is generated, as it's used, 70% of it is burned and 30% is given back to people that are staking, that actually have the VET. So it has this real great balance in a system. But I see it as like if you're a small gas station owner, you don't go buy you could buy your gasoline on a spot market and stuff like that. But what they do is they buy futures. So if they can buy the futures and lock in a price at say $1.20 a gallon, so they get to sell to their consumers for $1.30 and make that 10-cent profit per gallon. They buy the future to protect that value. Now, if the price goes up, they lost money on the future and they got to go, procure the gasoline. But if the prices are going up, and they have it and they can get it at 120, they take delivery of that gas, and now they build in a profit. And I see all these small and medium-sized companies, even if they're thinking about using this technology in the future, or they know they are, but say it's a year away or 2 years away. If any business with any type of forward thinking is going to go secure VET while it's at 27 cents, 30 cents, 50 cents, $1 before it goes up. So I think there's a built-in mechanism to always keep this price on the rise. And I think that's great. So I don't know if any of that makes sense. I mean, I would advise you to go out and look a little more into it, but I'm going to touch on a couple other things before I start babbling too much here. I think this is important. Vechain becomes the first 5-star rated blockchain service provider in the world, certified by Tough Sunderland. And what does that mean? Their certification acknowledges the readiness and maturity of Vechain's blockchain technology, raising the profile and prestige of the network and certifying it as one of the preeminent frontrunners in enterprise-level blockchain space. Now, what I really like about this Vechain is they're solving real-world it's not just a store of value like, say, a Bitcoin. They're actually using this blockchain to go out and be able to bring in businesses into their ecosystem and their stuff and really do stuff that matters. And I just see it as extremely, I just see it as extremely great for the future in a growth of that. All right. Well, anyway, well, let's ask ourselves, what is Tov Sarlin? Well, I went over and looked at history. Well, they started back in 1865 because during the Industrial Revolution, with the increasing numbers of steam engines, well, they had them blowing up everywhere. They were exploding all over the place, apparently. Well, the explosion of broilers in Mannheim and some other places, well, these guys all got together, and they were the first inspection society on the European mainland. Inspection society of anything. Up until that time, before the Industrial Revolution, and these boilers were exploding everywhere, there was no inspection, people to certify shit. Well, today they provide the services to industry, governments, individuals, and nonprofit groups. They're a huge name in certification about manufacturing processes, if things work the way they're supposed to, blah, blah, blah. They give the thumbs up, and government gives the green light to people that are applying for patents or, everything from pharmaceuticals to manufacturing process to that. Now, they messed up a couple times here. Just a couple tidbits down here. They're not batting 1,000. They had the Brazilian dam disaster. Tov Sud was auditing and certifying Vale, a company that was involved in the Mariana Dam disaster. I'm sure if you lived in that house, you weren't too satisfied with what Tov did as far as certifying that fucking thing. But so and then you got this one: 1,600 women, their breast implants. Their breast implants ruptured. The implants were made by Poly Implants, Prothesis, and Tov Rhineland certified the manufacturing process. Well, again, I think if you're one of those 1,600 women whose tits exploded, I don't think you think that they're signing off on anything as the greatest thing in the world. But if those are the only two things since 1865 that can actually make it on a Wikipedia page, pretty sure they got a pretty good batting average. So I'm sure that they're saying they're the first and only 5-star rating for blockchain on Earth is pretty good. All right, well, that being said, let's take a look over at the chart. I was just looking at this really quick. To me, I guess recently you could take this channel, this top side of this channel, the low side of the channel is still intact. I guess if you wanted to, you could say that this is narrowed a bit from here to here. I disagree. I'm looking at this, from back here. I think these 3 lines are good. I think here it was poised to go up and touch it. But if you look at the day, January 20th, 21st, boom. Everything went down that day. I think it was flying in the overall market, Bitcoin and the trouble Ethereum everybody had on that day. It just didn't touch it. Just like it didn't touch it here and it didn't touch it on that peak. And everything went down and blah, blah, blah. And this is where it is today. Getting wrecked again today. But I believe that's the channel. I think this here, I think you can get rid of that. I think this is the bullish channel. I see it's been going up here, did go sideways here through November, until, Christmas weekend. We all know what happened on Christmas weekend with the entire market. And then ever since then, it's, it's been on that way up. I definitely, no doubt, I see this when I look at this chart. So I'm bullish. Now, if it goes up and touches this, if you extend this line, if this bounces off of here and goes up and touches this for a 4th point, and I'm not too big on looking at charts and really giving two shit. I like to see the overall trend. People get way too into charts and shit, especially in crypto. It's almost impossible. It's not like when I was a broker at Morgan Stanley. You could go to the bank on some of those charts. In crypto, it'll be a perfect chart and it'll just shit on you. But I think an overall trend. You can tell an uptrend just by looking at it. So if it goes up and touches it, now you got what? You got 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm extremely bullish. Right now, I'm real bullish. I'm definitely bullish long term on a macro fundamental look at what the company's doing, what they're trying to achieve in a real world, utility of it all for most industries. I can't really think of an industry that can't use or it can't not only can't use it but won't be using it. I think it's that important. Like I talked about the produce industry. I can't even explain how much insurance is and how many times you get screwed holding a $10,000 truck of shitty lettuce. So but even here on a technical analysis level, I'm also bullish. I'll be extremely bullish if it goes up here. So but I'm invested in these coins that I'm picking and tokens. I'm trying to get stuff I'm invested in long term that I don't really care what because I think the market's going to diverge from Bitcoin and these companies that are starting and these, whether Vechain and some others that I'll touch on in a couple other videos. I think they're going to diverge completely from that market, so that when Bitcoin shits the bed for whatever reason, and it's looked at more as gold. I mean, gold can shit the bed, and no one gives a shit about Amazon or Netflix. And right now, the altcoins are so tied into what Bitcoin's doing. I think that's going to diverge in the future as all this stuff gets more mainstream, and as more companies start, using this. Yeah, like I say, I can name BMW. There's a whole list already starting to use Vechain. So I think it's important to look at. But I can't argue with this chart on a technical analysis level. To me, it confirms it and reaffirms everything that I'm thinking about Vechain. So I'm in. I'm bullish. I don't care what you do. I'm just telling you it's what I'm going to do. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. So this week, I don't know if you guys haven't seen my my first video I made. Like I say, I'm just doing this little thing where I'm going to invest, $400 a week for the next year, between $400 or $500 a week. And I picked out about 14 different tokens. I'm going to go through them. I started that first week, Ethereum, Elrond, and ADA, Cardano. So, and you can check that out. And I give why I did it, where I did it, how I did it, and all that kind of stuff. And just kind of, I don't know, learn, go through the pains of ups and downs. Because so far I was getting wrecked the first couple 2 days. Well, hopefully everyone is, but that's what it is. So it's my thoughts on Vechain. Leave me a comment down there. Tell me what you think. You think I'm right? You think I'm full of shit? You don't see it. You do see it. You're on board. You're not. Let me know. Definitely, again, if you appreciate this, like and subscribe. I hope that you get something, at least if not some kind of value, at least it's entertaining, or you're just like, fuck this guy, he's full of shit. All right, have a good day, guys.